part of our program where we will be discussing one of the cornerstones of the CFA program, which is actually ethics. From what I know, this was a rumor back then, I don't know now, they say that no one passes the CFA program without reaching a certain grade in ethics. That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true. It is actually one of the toughest portions of the exam, not because it's very difficult, but actually because it's very complex. It's very complex. So to give us a talk about ethics and what it is and how to apply it, we have here with us Mr. Andrew Stotz, CFA. Let me read to you his profile. Andrew Stotz is the CEO of Stotz Investment Research, a company that provides institutions and high net worth investors with research services, tools, and ready-to-invest stock portfolios to enhance efficiency and improve performance. Andrew has a highly contagious enthusiasm for all facets of life. He has lived in Thailand since 1992 and has been a university lecturer and equity analyst since 1993. He is an author, yoga student, and wellness aficionado. He graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in finance and an MBA from California State University. Andrew earned his PhD in finance at the University of Science and Technology of China in Anhui province with a focus on answering questions raised by fund managers and analysts during his career about picking stocks and managing portfolios. So, without further ado, let's all welcome Mr. Andrew Stotz.
Are you guys ready for lunch? Oh. All right. So, my name's Andrew Stotz, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about 10 ways that ethics adds value to you. Can I see your hands? 10 ways that ethics adds value to you. I want to hear from the people on the left side over there. Can you guys hear me? Oh yeah. And the right side? Oh, you guys have got to get louder over there. Louder. All right, right side, they're going to beat you. Louder. Okay, good. It's good to have all of that energy. So, I'm going to teach you 10 ways ethics adds value to you. And since I've been a teacher all my life, I'm going to tell you, please get out a piece of paper. Please get out a piece of paper. You're going to take notes in this class. So, I have a bonus for you today. 4 steps to get out of trouble. You ever get in trouble? Yeah. You're going to be in trouble in your life. Today's lecture, as a bonus, I'm going to teach you how to get out of trouble. So, let's get started. And let's talk about the CFA exam for a moment. Why do people take CFA? Well, there's many reasons. To gain a wider knowledge, to understand the financial world. I got my CFA in 2001, and it was the key to being successful as an analyst. And I've been an analyst all my career. In fact, I'm an analyst in my heart. What does that mean? A true analyst uses the scientific method of analyzing information, data. A true analyst doesn't make a conclusion until they've done their research. The tools that the CFA program gave me were the tools that helped me to do that research. So, also, young people like you want to build a competitive advantage. You don't have to beat me You have to beat the other people sitting next to you. You have to figure out a way to build a competitive advantage. Today, I'm going to teach you that way. There's many areas that the CFA exam covers. Some areas are interesting for you. Other areas are interesting to others. Let's look at it for a moment. Where do you think you can build a competitive advantage in your career? Your own competitive advantage. You see that sign? It says shout. I want you to shout out if you see an area that you think you can build a competitive advantage. Are you ready? Oh man, that's tiring. Are you ready? Okay, that's what I want to hear. So, let's get started. How about financial reporting and analysis? Who thinks you can build a competitive advantage there? Maybe the accounting people. Shout out, yes. Okay, we've got a few. Let's look at a few others. Alternative investments. How about you? Anybody? Okay, we've got a few. What about derivatives? How about corporate finance? Whoa, that's a big one, huh? And portfolio management. That's pretty cool, right? That's a cool one. Economics. Equity valuation. Oh, that didn't sound like much, Chris, huh? I mean, that was my area, equity valuation. Okay, next. Next, my clicker. Fixed income. I heard some CFA charter holders in the front screaming. All right, asset allocation. That's a pretty cool one. And quantitative methods. Quant. That was pretty quiet. These are all the subjects of CFA. How about behavioral finance? Okay. Unfortunately, all those areas are so highly competitive that you will find it hard to build a competitive advantage in those areas. What's your area? What area is most interesting to you? Accounting? Finance? Which one? Derivatives? What is it? How about over here? Which one's most interesting for you? Economics. All right. You can tell me at the lunch. She's a little embarrassed, right? All right, that's okay. So now, let's talk about this. There's one area where you can build a competitive advantage, each one of you, now, today. And that area is ethics. You see, the world is full of lying, cheating, sneaky, bad people. But not in this room. Now it's time for you to build a competitive advantage in ethics. And you know what? That's cool. That's very cool. So, if you can build a competitive advantage in ethics, you will be rare. Repeat after me, rare. That's what we're trying to build, is to be rare. Not like your steak, you like it rare. No, we want to be rare. So let's get started. And what? What's that? What does that say? Get out your piece of paper and draw around your hand right now, just like it looks like there. I think somebody got a hold of my presentation. Write out around your hand right now on that piece of paper. Yeah, on the paper, not on your hand. You got it? Put it on a piece of paper. Okay. We're going to talk about two ways. The first way is about the way we work. And the second way, how we interact with others. So, once you've written that out, I want you to write the following letters on the hands, just like that. DICOTRCFTL. Please write that down, those letters. You didn't think you would be drawing today, huh? I just called my mother a couple minutes ago. I go, Mom, look at this crowd. And she said, are you afraid? And I said, no way. These are awesome students. Yeah. All right. So, yeah. I want you to write down on the first one on the left, diligent. What does it mean to be diligent? It means that you persevere in the application of your knowledge and skill. That's the first D on your left-hand pinky. Okay. Are you diligent? It's not easy to be diligent. To build a competitive advantage in diligence, you've got to work hard. But you know what? You don't have to be a genius to be diligent. Every person in this room has the capacity to be diligent to your own ability. The next word, we've got an L over there. Do you see the L? Let's write down there, loyal. Will you be loyal? What does it mean? I'm going to teach you a lesson that we learn in CFA, and that is client first, company second, you or me, the individual, third. If you came into this room thinking that you were going to get into finance to get yourself rich, you've got it upside down. Your job is to get your clients rich, to get your company rich. And trust me, if you do that, if you have strong loyalty to your client, you will be rare. Now, what does it mean when we think about loyalty to our client? How many people in this room? I want you to think about this question, and I want you to raise your hand if you can answer this question. The question is, how many people in this room never saw another person cheat in school? How many people never saw somebody cheat in this room? All right, Chris, can you help me? Do you see any hands? There's too many lights here. Wow. So we're looking out, and it's very, very few, if any. What does that mean? That means that all of you have been exposed to cheating. Ha 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 ha. Well, when I was a young guy and I was your age or younger, I remember I went into an exam and I sat down and I wrote the answers on the bottom of my foot. Crazy. These are stupid things that we do when we're young. Now, all of you have witnessed cheating in school. So I'm going to ask you the next question. How many people did the following? You saw someone cheating, and you raised your hand and said, "Teacher, he's cheating." Who did that? Today, I'm going to teach you that CFA teaches us that our code of ethics means the client comes first. What does it mean to say that the client comes first? You see, if somebody's cheating when you're taking care of a client's money, who gets hurt? The client. The client can get hurt. Maybe that person would lose the client's money. Now, what if the client was my 81-year-old mother and you cheated my mother? How about if somebody cheated your mother or your father? If you think that you should care for your client as you would your mother, you will always understand that when cheating is going on in the financial world, the CFA program teaches us that we are to raise our hand to stop that cheating, because client comes first, and that is true loyalty to client. Next word, before we get into it, the word is rare, and you've already heard it. If you are diligent and loyal, you are rare. And rare is valuable. Let's move on. The next one is independent. Put that on your left ring finger. Independent. What does it mean? It means you're not subject to control by others. It means that you make up your own opinions. Your opinions don't have to go against others, but you make them up by yourself. For most of us, when we're young, we're following our seniors, what they say. But today is your day to realize that you need to start making your own independent decision. CFA program gave me all the financial tools I needed to deeply analyze a situation and make an independent judgment. So today, ladies and gentlemen, is your Independence Day. Yay! All right, so let's continue. The next one is trustworthy. People have no doubt that they can rely on your character. So let me ask you, and this time I just want you to shout out your answer. How many people do you trust? But I'm not talking about just basic trust. I'm saying if you have a secret, something painful inside of you, and you need to tell one person, you want to tell someone this secret, but you do not want to tell somebody that's going to tell other people. That person that you tell must be somebody that you trust, right? It absolutely. In fact, you look at your friend and you think, I want to tell this secret I have in my heart. And you look at your friend and you say, I'm not telling him, he'll tell everybody. Right? So trust means that you can trust that if you tell them, they're not going to tell other people, right? So, how many people do you trust with your secret? Tell me. How many? I got one. How many? Raise your hand. Show me. Raise your hand. How many? I got 3. Somebody in the back, he got 10. Oh my God. Let me tell you, if you think you have 10 people that you can trust, you haven't tried them yet. You will find. You think you can trust them, but actually, the number of people that we can trust, truly trust in our life. When I ask this question around the world, it's about between 1 and 3. 1 and 3. When you look around the room, and when you look around at your friends, and your friends have to find somebody they can trust, are you the one they trust? You see, if we build trustworthiness in ourselves, we are rare, and people will come to us. As the president of CFA Society Thailand for 2 terms, many people came to me with problems, and they trusted that I wouldn't share their problems out to the public, just as our board and president in the Philippines have to do the same thing. Be a person of trust. Let's continue. So, if you are diligent, independent, trustworthy, and loyal, you will be rare. And rare is valuable. Today, we are building a competitive advantage in you to be valuable. Let's continue. The next one is to continually improve. On your left side, middle finger. Don't give the middle finger, but just write down continually improve. What does it mean? You strive to always improve yourself, your products, your services, your process. Why are you here? You are here to improve yourself, right? You are here because you want to be better. You want to get a better education. You want to get a better training, like CFA as an example. You want to meet better people. You want to get a job and get better in that job. And you want to do better for your family. This is the concept of trying to continually improve. Okay, let's continue on. Next. The next one is fair. The F stands for fair. It means you deal fairly with all your clients based on their needs. Now, some of you may have questions, and we're going to have a Q&A session in just a few minutes. If you have questions, make sure you're putting them in the app, and we will try to answer as many questions as I can. So, if you're diligent, independent, continually improve, if you're fair, you're trustworthy, and you're loyal, you will be rare. And rare is valuable. We're building a competitive advantage today. So now let's talk about the next one, objective. Objective, on your left hand, pointing finger. You deal with things as you see them. You don't let your personal feelings, prejudices, or interpretations bias your decision. You step back. Two people don't trust each other. They have different sides of the argument. You step back and you are objective. And this is rare. The next one is confidential. Confidential means you protect the privacy of your clients. Nothing ever leaks from you. In other words, in our work, everything is confidential about our clients. Many people don't realize that, and they give out information about clients. But information about clients is confidential, except in rare circumstances. So if you're diligent, independent, you continually improve, you're objective, you're confidential, you're fair, you're trustworthy, and you're loyal, you are rare. And rare is valuable. So let's round it off by talking about the T on your thumb. And the T stands for thorough. It means you're careful about the details and you complete your works in all respects. And the next one is you reveal conflicts of interest. Conflicts of interest are all around us every day. We don't have to get rid of conflicts of interest. We have to reveal them. Once people see the conflicts of interest, then people can make a better judgment of it. So, what have we got? I want you to raise your 10 hands because I've just given you 10 ways. Raise them high. And let's go through it. We're going to go through it. If diligent. Repeat after me. Diligent. Loyal. Independent. Trustworthy. Continually improve. Oh, you putting your hands down. Don't get lazy. Get those hands up. All right. The next one is fair. You guys are hungry, right? Yeah. Objective. The next one is confidential. Hands up. And thorough. And the last one is reveal conflicts. All right. So, congratulations. You are now able to build yourself into a rare person, and rare is valuable. Oh, I'm going to give you a quick bonus. 4 ways to get out of trouble. The majority of the trouble that you will face in your life will be caused by you. I'm going to give you 4 A's. 4 A's that you can remember. The first one is aware. You should be aware of the people around you and what they are doing. If you see bad or wrong things going on, stay aware. Step back. The second thing is, we are all wrong at times. Don't run away from it or try to hide when you are wrong. Just admit it. So, the second word is admit. Just say it. I was wrong. Oh yeah, exactly. Get some practice. You'll have a lot of opportunities. Look at people with their husbands, wives, girlfriends, and boyfriends that say, yeah, I have to say that all the time. When you do something wrong, apologize to all that you have harmed. 6 simple words. I was wrong. I am sorry. Say it together. I was wrong. I am sorry. Trouble disappears when you do that. Though we want the person we have harmed to accept our apology, their response is not the most important thing. It's that you apologize sincerely. They may never forgive you. That's their problem. And so we have aware, admit, apologize, and the last one. Are you really sincere about your admission and your apology? How sincere are you? Oh yeah, I was wrong. Sorry, dude. See you later. Right? How serious are you? If yes, then you need to make it right. If you've done something wrong, you need to make it right. Now that's not easy. If you can't afford to make it right, then start with a small amount. If you cost someone a big loss, tell them, I cannot afford to pay all that back, but I can afford $1,000 a month as a start. And I will pay you every single month this amount as a start. So the last A is amend. Make amends. So let's repeat the 4 words. Aware. Admit. Apologize. Amend. Boom. You're out of trouble. You're out of trouble. It's that simple. Ask the older people in the room and your friends and family. If you repeat those things, you're out of trouble. So, I can't move my clicker anymore, so I'm going to take it off, and I'm going to end my presentation by doing one last thing. I have been an equity analyst all my life, and what I have done is taught valuation for 28 years. So I've worked in valuation, I've taught valuation, and I have a class called the Valuation Masterclass, where I teach. It's 200 hours. It's only for people who are serious about valuation. Today, I'm going to offer 2 scholarships for that program. The first scholarship is for the general group here for a full scholarship to Module 1 of the Valuation Masterclass. I'm going to offer 4 scholarships per university that's attending here. In addition, I'm going to offer another group for the students who are truly sincere. So this is a very hard program. Do not apply for this scholarship unless you're really ready to build that advantage. And the next thing is even more special, and that is because in CFA we've been focusing on women in finance. I am going to offer a Women in Valuation full scholarship for all 5 modules of the Valuation Masterclass. That's about $1,000 and about 200 hours of work. It would take 5 months for those women to finish that, and I will personally coach them through it. My objective is at the end of the 5 months, those women will know valuation to the depths as far as I can get them. And my challenge is to the CFA Society here, to the board members as well as to the sponsoring companies, is my challenge is if I can get this group of young women, I'm going to offer it for 20 women in the program, for 20 women in this room who are very serious about valuation. Then, after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to guarantee you that you're going to get a job interview. How am I going to do that? Because I'm going to ask the CFA Society and some of the other sponsoring companies here that if I can train you to an expert level in valuation, do you want to interview this person? And the answer is hell yes. I've already talked to some of the people in it. So the last thing is, how do you get this? I'm going to just flick to it. You can. Congratulations, by the way.
All right,
So as I was saying,
so
Mr. John,
Jess.
Mr. Andrew's presentation really reminded me of what we learned during our first year in finance. Do you guys remember the 10th principle of finance? Yes? Who remembers? Well, the 10th principle of finance actually talks about ethics. And ethics, as we all know, means doing the right thing. But in our field, ethical dilemmas persist everywhere. So it's high time, as stated by Mr. Andrews, that we build a competitive advantage in ethics. Right, Sir John?
Actually, I was hoping that I heard Andrew's thoughts way back when I was a student so that I can already start building on those competencies to make me rare and valuable. So you guys have a head start. Please take advantage. So now it's time for our Q&A. I hope you have submitted your questions through our CFA Society Philippines app to ask our esteemed speaker, Mr. Andrew Stotz. Our moderator for this session is the Relationship Manager of the Bank of Singapore. Let's welcome on stage Ms. Charmaine Gomez, CFA.
A round of applause, everyone.
Hello. Okay. Hi again, Andrew. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay, thank you for that lively and very insightful presentation earlier. So I have questions coming in from the CFA app right now. Okay, let's start with the one with the most likes. How do you know if you can really trust someone?
So the answer to this is that there is no shortcut to building trust. It only happens over time. You have to trust a little bit, and you have to start by trusting a little bit, and then eventually testing the trust. So the truth is, it's very hard, because I can tell you that you can check people's references, check the relationships that they've had, check how things have worked with other companies. But it really matters how that person acts with you. So ultimately, trust is one of those things. If you read the books that say, 5 sleep hacks, or that say the secret to this, that's all just hype. When it comes to trust, it just takes time. Next question.
Okay, next question. Can you give us some tips on how we can address observed conflicts of interest?
So there's many conflicts of interest in our life. Salespeople are selling things and they're earning a commission. People are selling products and making money from it. In Thailand, we had a case of a politician who had proposed that a new building be built on a piece of land. And the cabinet voted on it. And they agreed to build on this piece of land. Many years later, the building was okay and the land was fine, but it became known that the land was owned by that politician. That was a clear conflict of interest. So how do you solve this conflict of interest? You bring it out in the light. If he had brought that out in the light and said, I own this plot of land, but I think it is a suitable piece, and you bring that to the light, then people can make their decision. So one of the big lessons I learned from ethics in CFA is that we're not trying to eliminate. If you try to eliminate conflicts of interest, you'll never be successful. But if you bring conflicts of interest to the light, then people can make decisions based upon that.
So in relation to that, how would you describe the relationship between law and ethics? So like, if, for example, a course of action is admittable under the law, but you feel that it is unethical, would you say that you should go by the stricter regulation or guideline?
Well, I think that's a good question. And the answer to that is, you have to live with yourself every night. You have to live with yourself for the rest of your life. What you do is not dictated by law, it's dictated by what you feel is right. So by law, you may be allowed to do something, or you may be required to do something. But let's say you have to move in your job, you're working for the government, and you have to move a group of people out of a slum area to another area. And by law, you're allowed to do it. But you can do it with compassion. Or you may decide, I don't want to do it. And you may decide that I don't want to participate in this. So I think it's a very clear distinction. It's what you want to live with, in your heart every day and every night. And I don't want to carry the burden of having done things that I felt were unethical or that breached what I wanted to do in the way I treat other people.
Okay, all right. So the next question is, can you tell us one guiding principle in order for us to be on track into being an ethical person?
So the guiding principle, particularly we're going to talk about it in relation to finance, is the guiding principle that I said, which is care for your client as you would your mother. And it's a meaningful statement for me because my father and mother had a happy marriage for 58 years. And 3 years ago, my father called me to ask me to help take care of my mother because she had a stroke. And I went back to America, and within 7 days, my father had died. My mother was in the hospital, having had a stroke, recovering. And my sister and I had the difficult decision, and we decided to bring my mom back to Thailand to be with me. So my mother's lived with me now for 3 years. And her condition has recovered so much that when I was waiting to come on stage, I did a FaceTime with her and said, look at all these awesome students here. And my mother was like, yeah, you saw me do it. And so, but when I went through all of the financial aspect, my family is middle class. We're not upper class. But when I went through my mother and father's financial situation, when my mother came to Thailand, I told her, Mom, you did it. You don't have to worry about money for the rest of your life. You have enough money to live comfortably for the rest of your life that you've carefully saved and invested over time. And you have me and my sister who would support you anyways. So the point is that if somebody had come along that was doing bad things and hurt my mother and father because they were playing some game at work, or they were breaking some rule or guideline at work, and they were doing some kind of excessive trading of my mom and dad's account, we would have been in a lot more trouble. So I highly recommend that a guiding principle is, repeat after me, care for your client as you would your mother. Ready? Care for your client as you would your mother. That's the guiding principle.
Okay. All right. I think for our last question, it's just for all the students here who would like to take the CFA exam, what would your tips be, especially in terms of the ethics section in the exam?
So I only give one tip for preparing for the exam after many years of teaching prep courses and all that, and that is practice problems. Don't get your books and get your highlighters out and highlight green and yellow and orange, you know, and then you fall asleep. You've got to practice problems because that's what you're going to see on the exam. When I was studying for the exam many years ago, I got a few different books that had practice problems, and I cut those practice problems. So I had one little page for each practice problem, and I stacked them up. And I started answering. If I got it right, I put it there. If I got it wrong, I put it there. If I got it wrong, I made an index card and taught myself and went to the book. And then I just kept going through until I got most of them wrong. The point is with the CFA exam, you don't have to get, in fact, if you get a 75% on the CFA exam, I would say that you may have done even better than somebody that got 100%. How could that be? It's because we're all busy. I want to get 100% on the exam, but I'm also working and we're trying to build our career. So if I can figure out how to manage my time enough to cover the basic material and get over it, because the most important thing is nobody will ever know your GPA or your score in CFA exam. Yeah. They just know that you passed. So pass. That's your challenge.
Okay, thank you very much, Andrew.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.